Hey, Mr. Jeff Bond, this is Joe with Jack Digital. Apologize, I know you had a 12:30. I just got this about 20 minutes ago, and so it's just running through it. It is not live on the internet. We have it in a controlled environment because we want to avoid the cost of that hosting. Atlantic or AWS is going to charge us just for it parked there, and that's why it's not sitting somewhere like with just the lights off. This has actually been pulled and archived. It's kind of like pulling a vacuum on a 20-pound compressor. I've got to go suck it out of that archive, reload it, like recharging that compressor once I pull it and it holds, and then make sure there's no leaks. So the same thing here. Let's make sure everything loads and everything works. Because this is a pretty big website, if we recall. So the search tool works. I can type in Dallas, Texas. I just don't think there's anything live right now. So, I'm going to hit search. Sorry. So you hit search and then, yeah, so there's nothing. And if I took it out to, I don't know, what was that go? As many miles as I can there. So there's nothing, but that's okay. It shows it. So if you'll recall, and I'm sure you remember how that works on the candidate and or the employer profile, and I'll go over that just to make sure. But you can use some of that. That way we understand why it's sitting in the position it's in. It's just archived, and that's very important. It just means like it's a compressor that's been sitting there not used for a couple of years. First thing you're going to do is just go pull the vacuum to see if the seal's hold, right? So the thing is, pardon me, built for professionals, the KRLD news. I can log in and register. We're always offering that. This was live feeds. Hasn't been updated in a while since the site's been down. But those were live feeds from industry publishers, that put out information. This is your blog, so if you click on one, it'll take you to that article, and you could read about what Jeff is talking about in this case, or whomever you used. And then there was others like recents or the next ones, right? We even invited some people that if you want to share or write an article for us, right, get it out to you at the info at. So very nice. Social media buttons were everywhere. The Why Us, let's see if it'll get me back there. There we go. So that was the blogs at the bottom, right? So the Why Us was that cool picture of you. And the Why Us is, like what's the reason behind it? So there was the problem, the solution, TradeJobs. There's the opportunity and the mission. TradeJobs, right? Love that. Really nice website, Jeff. And then the About Us is from the Big Boss, and then there was like a couple people. I think that's a real review, and then I think we had, yeah, that's a real review, and I don't know if the rest of these are real, but I think they were like to show people. Okay, so that's that part. I'm going to go log in as an admin so that I can demonstrate some of the other parts just real fast. It's not going to be in an environment where you'll be able to just let somebody see it online. I can always do a screen share with you on your next meeting and then, walk through some of the parts. But let's talk about what screenshots you'd like, and I can just get those to you. Let me go here. I'm going to go to the admin section. Okay. And that's going to be like me logging in. Let's see, and then see we have a multi-factor authentication. Let's see. That is to a mobile app on my phone, and it only lasts for 30 seconds. Otherwise, it reissues another one, and then I got to type in that one. So you can see I've got 32 updates. Woo! WordPress, that's a big one. The original Carrera theme, which is a job board theme that we used and customized for you. So that's where, the backdash is, testimonials, media is there, that we have the ads. There's an ad, right? We do have that page built. So when you get into like the pages, this is back structure that I'm showing. So I really wouldn't want to let anybody play with it live because it does need some updates and security. So I'm going to keep it secluded where it's not on the World Wide Web, just so we don't have hackers and attackers. I'll be able to get to it. Right now it's in a controlled environment. But you can see, there's the advertising page, the candidate dashboard, the cart, that's the checkouts. Remember that you can take payments in here for a subscription. For ad campaign, for people running ads, and there's a place for them to upload the ads, and we give them the kind of size and type, the companies and the dashboards, and then, there was something called training. That's only available when you log in as a user. Well, how do I become a user? You click any of those buttons that said log in or register, right? Are you a candidate? Are you an employer? So in this case, I'm on my dashboard, and then you can see there's the training page. The training page allows you to go to these cool 3 buttons. And in any trainings that you offered, whether they're online studies, links to other portals, or actual videos that you were going to put in here would all be available, or employers could, right? So anyway, and some of these could be precursor to the hiring process. But let's say I'm a candidate, I can go look at jobs, but if I just click candidate, I'm going to go in here to my dashboard because I am an admin. So you can see that there's my jobs and my companies, my profile. So I can have a profile. But let's say I'm a company. Well, I can have up to, as many companies as I like. Let's say I own a few rooftops. Let's say I own, an HVAC chain, like 3 or 5 locations, and I own a plumbing company, and it's 2 different entities. I could have a total of 3 companies in here with one login user called my admin or my HR gal, right? Tell her, hey, I need to fill these positions. She logs in under her user, adds that company, or if it's already added, then she can go through the steps of adding a job listing. Remember, when they fill out a profile, you got the notification, all the cool emails, nice templates, and you approve them. Then they're on their way from the approval to go and create a job listing, fill out all the pieces to it, and then the last step, and I'll show you that here in a second, is they're ushered to a subscription. They have to have a approved profile by you or the admin, and that could be automated, but then they have to have a paid subscription. Otherwise, they can't get access to the people, okay? So I could have multiple companies with their own logos, contact information, etc. Or I could put in, if there's 3 locations, I might want to put in the 3 locations to get myself a bigger draw, right? And then create a job listing, right? My profile, right? So let's just say I'm, a candidate. Here's my candidate. I could have one login profile that you have to approve first, and they can go create their resume profile, really their candidate profile. This is account profile. But their candidate profile can have 2 different versions. Let's say one's more toward an electrician because I'm licensed there, but I also have a license for HVAC in some parts, right? So I could have a different profile there applying to companies that are HVACs instead of just leaning straight on electrician. So it just depends what they're trying to do, right? And then you can also go, to apply jobs, listing reports. There's notifications, which is kind of cool, like the job alerts and profile alerts. So candidates can get job alerts and employers can get profile alerts. Really cool. How many jobs I've applied to, listings. So like, let's say for instance, I want to do if I go to my jobs, let's take a look. I don't think there's any. So let's say I'm just going to add a job. So in this case, because I'm admin, I'm posing as an employer. So I can go in here, right? See, it says you're currently signed in as Joe. I can sign out. But so it always tells me what profile I'm using. Let's say just because you got to keep it separate, your HR gal or guy is using 2 different profiles for 5 different companies. 3 that's one chain, 2 for another. Totally feasible. Makes it very easy. So I can put the job title, I can put what area, full-time, part-time, and contract. Those were the 3 that you chose. At the beginning, I need to pick a field. So let's say I pick electrician. Then that opens up this one, and there's those categories. But let's say I go back up here and I pick plumbing. And then those categories have these, right? Or let's say I pick HVAC, your favorite, and then I go here, right? So let's say I'm trying to fill an installer job. And then, commercial, residential, you can always put on there, what are your duties? What are you going to be doing? You could actually put a link here. So if the employer does need to like run driver's license backgrounds and all that stuff, you could actually put a link here and send them to your HR dashboard, right? Whatever that is, whatever systems they use. I can, this is going to be part of the things that I'm looking for. What do I want? What kind of education? What kind of low end and high range on pay? That way, when the listing goes out, you know what you're offering, and then there could even be a picture of or an image or logo of the company if y'all want. Then I either need to create a new company or add it to an existing company, right? And I think even there's some here. Because I'm admin, I can see everybody. So there was some of those old ones, right? So you can see the process. List the details, preview the listing, choose a package, check out. Bang! They can preview the listing before they pay to make sure they got it right. Well, once they were approved, then they could go to this step and add a listing. Then they could get access to candidates. Same thing for the candidates, right? So when I go to I probably should go to my profile. Sorry, let's go my profile. So when I go here, I am posing as a candidate. I can add a profile, right? Remember, I could have one user account profile, but then I can have multiple candidate profiles. So I'm going to fill in the information. I'm going to pick a category. I'm going to say plumbing, and then I get one of the selected drop downs that was specifically named for those categories, right? So let's just say, hey, I'm a apprentice, helper apprentice. Do you have a registration card, right? When does it expire? Ooh, sorry, I clicked too many times. So let's say I say apprentice and I go there. If you have a license registration card, when does it expire? So I can click the date, right? If I have it, let's say I don't. What area I want to be in, and I can upload a picture of myself. What's my minimum pay, right? What do I'm looking for? Remember, on the job side, you could put a top and bottom range. What languages do you speak? Years in the trade, we're just looking for a range. Do you have a Facebook? We like to see if we can find you. Education was easy, experience was easy, and then do you have a driver's license, right? So, so do you have a valid driver's license? Yes or no? Then once they do that, they can preview the profile from here to there, right? And then what that does is allow them to approve their candidate profile. When that happens, then it goes out there live and it matches up to those jobs in those areas. But they can't do that unless they have an approved account, which is what you get notified at the beginning. So candidates, you have to approve. Companies, you have to approve their user profile before they can go create their employer or before the candidates can go create their candidate, right? Profiles, which is really resume and jobs, right? So there you go. Man, this is a killer site. It's got a lot of cool stuff, man. I forgot how cool it was. So anyway, those are the things that are there. I think packages. I don't think it's not going to do anything because there's not any open. And orders. I'll have to double check that. But post a job, create a company. All of this is just normal stuff, and it looks really good, functions really well. I just don't have it live so we don't incur cost for you while you're trying to just show it. What we can do is do some screenshots of the sections you want, or let's just do a screen share and demonstrate just a handful of things without getting too crazy, because it's not 100% operational without all the updates. And that would take us some hours of work, take a backup. So that's why the hosting and the servicing is an expense, because to maintain something like this, you normally need a staff. We got it dialed in, but man, it takes at least one guy a couple, 2, 3 hours to get this flushed out, right? Once we get it flushed out, it's not that hard to maintain it, but someone's always got to stay on top of it, right? Okay, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.